All right, what up, people? It's your boy Chig from Gooner Evil Eye coming to you again for another review. First things first, let me explain why I'm in audio form as opposed to picture form. You guys normally notice that when I ever do my previews or my reviews, generally, not all the time, but generally, I tend to have a picture format. I notice weirdly, it seems to generate more views on my pictures actually whenever my actual live feed is there. But today, basically, I quite literally was playing poker with the boys until 5 a.m. So a little bit worse for wear. So I ain't putting my feet up there. Let's just be real. So yeah, you're just gonna have to deal with the audio format with me. Secondly, let me also take the opportunity to thank Mems from Arsenal Fan TV, specifically Arsenal Fan TV Extra. If you're listening to this and you haven't heard of that or you're listening to that, I don't know what you're doing. You should be listening to that immediately. I would actually go as far as to say it's probably my favorite thing on that channel. So yeah, it's good. Go and have a listen to it. It's good. It's good. It's a good little interaction. And it's the second time I've now had the opportunity to call in and voice my opinions. So yeah, go and have a listen to it. My aim, Mems, if you're listening to this, I'm still reaching out to you, brother. My aim is still to be on that panel. And my second aim is still to have you on my show. Mems is literally like the busiest man in the world. So I am trying to get him on the show. He does really, really want to come on. So it's a case of lining schedules up, and I will promise I'll get him on the show. Rarely do I let you guys down. It might be late, but rarely do I ever let you guys down. So at some point, we will find time to actually get him on the show. As for yesterday's game, and breathe. wow, what a game. Particularly if you're a neutral, what a game. Supporting Arsenal is not good for your health. You know? Honestly, it's not really recommended to support Arsenal. I don't know what happened yesterday. And I'll tell you why, because you probably sat there thinking, well, Chris, you thought it was going to be a big game. You thought it was going to be a tight game. Yes. In fact, I'll go as far as to say I kind of predicted what would happen initially. I didn't get the score right. I predicted 2-1 and it was 3-2. But I knew we would go 2-0 up. And I knew they would score and make it a nervy game. How it happened, I didn't quite foresee. So, I mean, a brief synopsis of what happened. We played well in patches, fell apart in some patches, and probably the worst defensive performance I've seen us have since Liverpool. Don't know what happened. Let's just go into it. Gosh, where do I start? Okay, so essentially we started really well. We started how you would expect an Arsenal team to start at home against anybody. And Theo, power to him. You know, my concern going into that game was that because of playing for England, I have heard Troop say this before on Arsenal Fan TV and on his review channel, which is also good. Go check it out if you've not heard it as well. He also said, much like me, said that, you know, Theo hadn't played well for England and it was a little bit worried that he would, after such good form, he would take his England form into our game. There was no such thing. Played really well, but I'm going to put an asterisk by that statement. And he got us off to a brilliant start. Scored a couple of really just clever goals which require a lot of composure and a lot of determination, particularly for the first one, which he practically bullied the defender off. I can't remember who delivered it. I think it was either Bellerin or Alexis. It was one of the two. and he crossed it in, and the defender got there. He was not having it. Bullied that defender off. Bang, 1-0. I thought, blimey, when do you ever see Theo bully anyone else off the ball, right? Then a few minutes later, what happened? It was a corner from Ozil, kind of bounced to Theo, but Theo was faced the wrong way, controlled it beautifully, bang, 2-0. Just swiveled on it, bang, 2-0. I was like, go on, fucking Theo. Go on. Celebrating, dancing around the living room. Everything we were in cruise control. Unfortunately, that's kind of the problem. If you want to hit Arsenal, there's 2 times to do it. When we're in cruise control and at the beginning before we're actually in our rhythm. They hit us on cruise control. I don't know what Xhaka was trying to do. Xhaka should not, not that he ever would, but if he was ever listening to the show, he should turn away now and not listen to his ratings. Because I actually thought, in spite of the sending off that I don't think was a sending off, which I'll come back to, I just thought he had a particularly, I don't think he played particularly well. And this highlighted it. I thought he seemed a bit off all day. Like he wasn't really imposing himself. He wasn't really hitting his normal spraying passes. And there was a moment where essentially he was maybe just outside the 18-yard box, a little bit further out. Might have been, I don't know, 25 yards out. Don't know what he was trying to do, trying to nutmeg this player. This player wasn't having it. Got the ball, ran past Xhaka like he wasn't even there, squared it to fucking Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson, bang, out. I think it was just inside the 18-yard box. 2-1. All of a sudden, so much pressure's on us from that point. I'm like, what on earth is happening? The way we finished that first half, I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous as hell for the second half. Then I thought, all right, well, at least we're in at half time. Maybe Wenger can calm these guys down and we can go out and do what we do. And initially, that seemed to work. We went out there, we played much better, we looked much more composed, we looked ready. Swansea looked up for it, but this time we were matching them. So he looked good. And that proved itself in the sense that Ozil scored a beautiful third goal. Dare I say, a very RVP-like goal. Came over the top from Alexis. We hit one of those kind of looping passes that just caught out the defenders. Ozil was in an awkward angle just outside the penalty, just outside the initial, was it the 6-yard box of the goalkeeper? But in an awkward spot on the left-hand side, bang, on the volley. Keeper had no chance. Erbianski had no chance. 3-1 in cruise control. Another person that didn't have a great game was Mr. Monreal, normally Mr. Consistent. I know, speaking to my boy yesterday, he has a general worry about Monreal and the fact that he's getting older, that slowing down. He's starting to suspect that maybe it might be the time to put Gibbs in. I'm not writing him off just yet. I think he's going to need more than 1 or 2 bad games for me to write him off. But between this and PSG was the other time that Monreal played particularly badly, where their PSG right back, I think his name's Aria, kept giving Monreal the most amount of problems. Here's the thing, though, and fair's fair. You guys know how much I love Iwobi, my countryman. I love him. I have to be honest. This is the problem with when Iwobi plays on the left, because the one part of his game he really does need to work on is his tracking back. As brilliant as he is going forward, and he was brilliant yesterday going forward, the man needs to track, because I felt like he left Monreal exposed a lot yesterday. I really did. And unfortunately, Monreal just kept getting roasted by Barrow. And that's how the third goal went in. It was horrible to watch. But essentially, they were running down our left wing, their right wing, and literally, basically, my man does one step over, doesn't, as troops would say, had him on toast. Does one step over, Monreal's out of the game, goes towards the byline, hits across, and who is there? Baston, I think his name is, either headers it or kicks it in, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, it's 3-2. And I'm like, oh. So you think to yourself, oh my gosh, are we actually going to draw this game? Because I've seen Arsenal do this against Swansea, coupled with the fact that we then had Xhaka being sent off. But I must admit, him being sent off was a bunch of bullshit. So, what's his name was running down? I can't even remember who it was running down the line. What was this? Was it Sigerson? I can't remember. Someone was running down the Swansea right-hand side. Like I said, they had a lot of joy down that right-hand side because Barrow just had Monreal on lock. He was just about, he went past Xhaka, to be fair. Xhaka was behind him, right? So Xhaka thought, all right, I can see we're in a lot of trouble here. Teams do this, people do this all the time, right? I can see that we're in a lot of trouble here. Let me just clip him on the leg and let him go down. I'll take the yellow card for the team. You know, I've done that in FIFA before. Straight up. Where I'm playing FIFA and I see that I'm not the last man, but I can see that our defense is in trouble. We're like maybe it might be like a 2 versus 2 situation or 2 versus 1 situation. Clip the guy, take one for the team, let us regroup. So we were in that situation because we were pushing for a 4th goal. So he clipped my man's ankle. Stood up, obviously was expecting a card. What we weren't expecting was a red card. Now, I'll be honest. I'll be completely hands up honest. When I first saw it, I thought to myself, oh, fuck's sake, Xhaka. Because by that point, I didn't think he particularly played well. So my patience was wearing thin with Xhaka in that game. But then when I saw the replay, I was like, what kind of bullshit is this? Studs weren't up. Studs were on the ground. He literally, he was behind him. I accept it. But there's not one person alive that could tell me that was a dangerous tackle. He clipped him. At most, it's a yellow card. I accept it's a yellow card. But a straight red? Oh, my goodness. The referee had a shocker. Had a couple of really weird decisions during the game. And that was definitely the most. So obviously this put us under pressure. We're now under 10. We're now with 10 men, and we're just getting ran ragged. I ain't gonna lie. Swansea had a couple of chances they should have done better with. There was one. They had a couple of headers that, luckily for us, went straight to check. I think one of them went straight over. But don't get it twisted though. We also had our chances. So Ox came on, and a fair play to Ox. Played extremely well in his cameo. He came on and provided Theo not one, but 2 opportunities to get his hat trick. There was one opportunity. In fact, both of them were more or less identical. He had one opportunity where he nicked it off the ball and does what Ox does best. Just had power, because we were playing on the counter attack at that point. So just show loads of pace and power. Just nicked it off the guy and just ran down the right-hand side, crossed it in. Theo took one beautiful touch to take out 2 defenders. All Theo needed to do was just get the shot on target and it'll be a goal. My man, bow, hits the post. It literally rolls across the line and comes out. Now, everybody tells me that I'm being harsh on Theo by saying that, you know, don't be too harsh on him. It was a difficult opportunity. He did well, yada, yada, yada. All right, cool. Even if you want to say that, I don't necessarily agree, but all right, cool. Fine. I still think he should be finishing that. That was the first opportunity. But then the second opportunity, for me, was worse. Because then the second opportunity, he, again, Alex managed to nick the ball. ran steaming down that right-hand side, crossed it in for Theo. All Theo had to do was get this on target. That's all he had to do. Took it on the half volley. It went down the left. Like, it literally missed the target. I thought about, and trust me, it was easily the goals he took and the goals that he missed. The two that he missed were more easier than the goals he took. So you tell me how that makes sense. These are the frustrations that people have with Theo Walcott. It was so annoying because it was at those two opportunities were at a time where Swansea were pressing, and it was like, I think it was the 82nd, 83rd minute where Swansea were really putting a lot of pressure on us. At the time also, because Alex came on. Mind you, Alex made this impact and he came on the 82nd minute. And we were under so much strain and pressure at the time. It was ridiculous. But in the end, so those goals would have really helped. But in the end, we managed to see the game out. And thankfully, it ended 3-2 and got the 3 points, which is the most important thing. But man, oh man, the blood pressure was through the roof. I'll quickly do some player ratings for you guys. I thought Petr Cech was decent. It was his usual solid self. Don't think he could have really done anything about the 2 goals, to be perfectly honest. I don't remember any particularly memorable saves, but I don't think he did anything particularly wrong. So I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Bellerin, I thought it was on one opportunity where he had a shot on goal, which was a nice little mazy run that he had. Generally, I thought he was okay, though. Didn't do anything particularly badly. I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Mustafi, I've heard people say that you could argue he was at fault for the second goal. I can see why. I'm not convinced. People keep telling me he's good in the air. I'm not 100% convinced he's amazing in the air. Just for the simple reason that he's not that tall. He's 6 foot, which, don't get me wrong, is tall for like a normal person. Well, for an athlete, it's not that tall. So I can understand it. Plus, Mustafi's been so good lately. He's bound to have the occasional off game. And I'm not necessarily saying this was it. I think as a collective, the defence had an off game. I wouldn't necessarily focus that on Mustafi. I'll give him a 6, as I'll give Kashani, because you could also argue Kashani may have arguably that fault for the first goal as well. So for the second goal as well. So I'll also give him a 6. Monreal, on the other hand, the worst game I've seen him have since PSG. And those are the 2 games I've seen him have. I can honestly say, Monreal, what happened? Normally a very, very consistent player on the left-hand side, but got roasted. I'll be a little bit more forgiving of the fact that I do think Iwobi left him exposed a lot, but I still expect him to be doing that step over for the second goal. Monreal, you had him under control. It's not like he was running at you at that point. So yeah, for me, I'll give him a 5 out of 10. The 2 in the middle, I thought were missing for most of the game. I'll come back to Xhaka in a minute. Santi, I genuinely don't think he did that much. I've heard people say that he did hit a couple of nice passes. I thought he did okay in the first 20 minutes, but faded badly during the game. So just for the fact that I thought he did okay in the first 20 minutes, I'll give him a 6. But I do think it might be time to just take him out for a game or 2. Just for a game or 2. Xhaka, I'm going to give him a 4 out of 10. Not because he got sent off, because I think that's a bunch of bullshit. I just think it was his fault for the first goal. And I just don't think he played particularly well in the lead up to that. So I have to give him a 4 out of 10. Come back to the right hand side. Iwobi. he did one amazing trickery run in the second half. That almost led to an opportunity. In fact, I actually think it did lead to an opportunity, a Sanchez opportunity. Who's so skillful, so classy, and so brilliant. And the man is what, 19, 20? 19 or 20 years old? Wow. Kid. People were talking about people like Rashford and Lingard and people like that. You watch what Iwobi does. This guy's going to be amazing. Clearly buzzing off, scoring up his first international goal as well, midweek. Niger, brother. And he's going to be something exciting. You watch. I will. The only part of his game that he needs to improve is his tracking back. I do think he left Monreal exposed a few times, and for that reason, I'll give him a 7. It would have been an 8 had he been helping Monreal track back. I'll give him a 7. I thought Ozil was brilliant. Has had a couple of off games in the lead up to Swansea, but I thought Swansea was almost back to his best. Loads of trickery, loads of side steps, loops, slick passes, scored a goal. I think he got. I would probably give him, on his birthday, let's give him an 8 out of 10. I'll give him an 8 out of 10. I'm going to come back to Theo. Alexis, clearly, he played like someone who had a long flight. As I suspected, had a long flight. If it was anyone but Alexis, probably wouldn't have even played on Saturday, and arguably shouldn't have. Maybe Perez should have, to be perfectly honest. And I think that game, weirdly, I think that game would have suited Perez. I don't know why. I just have a feeling it would have suited Perez. He didn't look like normal Alexis, and I think what that probably shows us is just sometimes maybe Alexis up front isn't always the way to go. But I thought played okay. I'll give him a 6 out of 10. He always is tenacious, so he's always a tenacious little annoyance if you're the other team. And Theo, I mean, debating what mark to give him. And if he had scored his hat trick, I'd have given him as close to a 10 out of 10 as I possibly could have. He didn't score his hat trick, had at least 3 chances to get his hat trick. Missed some horrible chances, particularly one towards the end where there is no way we shouldn't be talking about hat trick Theo right now. But has been playing really well. You've got to give him man of the match, and I'd give him 8.5 out of 10. As harsh as that sounds. 8.5 out of 10. Just for the simple reason he didn't get his hat trick and should have got his hat trick. Manager, I can't even fault the manager. Played the team that should have played. They've been a winning team. I didn't find anyone else that said that we should have played a different team. On hindsight, I would have liked him to have brought on Gibbs a little bit sooner, because it just looked like we needed that reassurance a little bit quicker. Particularly after the third goal, you could have made a real argument that, all right, Gibbs should come on now. Just shore it up a little bit. And when he did come on, we looked much better. We actually finished the game quite strong the last 5 minutes or so. I thought we looked really, really solid. So I'd give Gibbs. So I'd give the manager 7 out of 10, but I'd give Gibbs 6 out of 10. I'd give Alex 7 out of 10. Even though he came on for 7 minutes, made a really good impact in 7 minutes. So I'd give him 7 out of 10. And then with Coquelin, I thought he looked really solid when he came on, and I'll give him 6 out of 10. I thought he really looked really solid when he came on. All right, that's enough of my waffling. I'm out of here. If you've got Twitter, please do follow me on Twitter at ColossalChig. Similarly, if you're listening to this for the first time and you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. You'll be alerted for future videos once you do. until Wednesday, where I'll do my preview stroke Gooner Eagle Eye episode 15 episode. So do have a listen out for that. Right, I'm out of here, people. Take care. Peace.